parents need to understand that you do not have a playbook that you can copy.
There is never been a playbook.
Every child is unique. Parents try and give an atmosphere to the children where they're trying to remove the hindrance. Life is not like that. In life, you come to those junctures where there are two roads to take. How do we teach the children to take the right one? It's not that they will not take the right one at some times.
They will go wrong. They could go wrong.
Yeah, they will.
But they have to have the ability to identify where they're going wrong and then turn around because of the footings that they've been given.
Marks, grades, universities, placements will all happen. We believe in that culture of excellence which is embedded into this Indian ethos, Indian values. If I really look back through my school days, and if I really look back to my peers who were there, it's not necessarily the ones who were top bracket academically who have been successful today. The personality is more important because you can learn certain things. You can never learn an attitude. Our school education has really transformed. I am seeing IB schools today in tier 4 cities. I am seeing IB schools today in places which does not have a direct airport connection. Transactional stuff going forward would be done by AI. Transformational stuff would be done through human beings. And that is the difference as we move forward.
Hello everyone, my name is Aakash Chaudhry and today we're going to have a very, very interesting conversation with Mr. Abhimanyu Basu, the Dean and CEO of Dhirubhai Ambani International School. Now this conversation is going to be so important for all you parents, students and educators out there. The real gems of his wisdom, his insights of being an educator for over 30 years, you will see all of that learning today. So let's dive deep into our conversation with Mr. Basu. Thank you, Mr. Basu, for taking out time for this interaction. I think this is a very important interaction, not only for the parents, students and stakeholders at the Dhirubhai Ambani International School, but I think it is a very important conversation for all the school owners out there and all the parents out there who are actually at a crossroad in this globally challenged, very, very uncertain times that we are, sitting in right now. Things are changing so fast. So this interaction, I want to start with asking, in this current global environment, you've got a very important responsibility as the Dean of Dhirubhai Ambani International School. So how are you looking at, what is your outlook for, for the schools, for the education system in this country, in this situation today?
So I think, in terms of students, I feel that as they go ahead in life, they must keep their curiosity going. That's a very important aspect. So intellectually curious is something that must be there in every child.
As a trait.
As a trait. The second important bit is that they need to be grounded on values and ethics. Because that is the part which is defining the character. And I think while we are looking at this, range of uncertainties which are coming through, it's very important for them to be emotionally agile.
Yes.
So how do we get this whole aspect of curiosity, the ethics, the groundedness, and the agility in terms of the emotions that they need to, sort of meander through as they move through life?
Yes, absolutely.
Because life is not a straight line.
Yeah, and their life, they will see some setbacks.
And they must be globally minded while they do all of these things. Yeah. So my one aspiration for, I think, every student who leaves our school is that while they must be academically, strong foundation, but they also come in with that sort of confidence and courage to face the world. And that what courage is very important because they will need to traverse through unknown waters.
Absolutely.
And, that is something, and how well they do that will define them who they are. If I really look back through my school days, And if I really look back through my peers who were there, it's not necessarily the ones who were top bracket academically who have been successful today.
Right.
It is those other aspects and characters which in life plays out.
Absolutely.
And I think while we do this, parents need to understand that you do not have a playbook that you can copy.
There is never been a playbook. Yeah.
Every child is unique.
Yes.
And you need to understand how we need to play to the strengths of each child in order to let them prosper, let them flourish, and find their own way in life.
And how do you see parents really balancing the need for, curiosity, ethics, problem-solving abilities, while the world really judges them on the grades that they've got, the college admissions that they've got? There is a big, hue and cry about getting into Ivy Leagues. So how do you see that, getting balanced? Because there is a need for that, at least, in the minds of the parent. So how are you suggesting they should look at this problem?
See, grades are important. And it's a hard reality of life.
It is.
We are in a country of how many million people?
Yeah.
1.5
billion.
1.5 billion students, right?
No, population, of course.
And
there are more than 300 million kids.
300 million students. And I think when you are in this sort of an atmosphere, you have to be competitive.
Yeah.
But that whole aspect of a placement of a university is an outcome. That is not the process. We need to believe in the
earlier things are done well,
yeah.
So this will happen.
It will happen. And we need to trust that process. And I think what parents really need to understand that what I have seen is that, parents try and give an atmosphere to the children where they're trying to remove the hindrances.
Yeah.
Life is not like that. And because life is not like that, you need to give them, in industry, they say that we need to do a prototype.
Yeah.
But you cannot do a prototyping in life. What you can really do is to give them a normal scenario where they need to figure out their own ways. So today, when you see children and they have a conflict or they have a problem, parenting is much more hands-on. I wish our parents probably spend so much of time with us.
As today's parents are doing.
I think they just let us go. And there is, when I actually look at that and look at this parenting style, I think there are positives and there are some of the areas which are concerns in both of these. One, I think I probably said. The second is, I think the parents are much closer to the kids today. So they understand what the children are. They're more like friends rather than that sort of a distance which was there.
Which was a high discipline distance.
High discipline distance which was there. So, but I feel there needs to be a balance.
Right.
And that balance is very important to actually make sure that, all of those things happen in the way that we want them to go through life.
Yeah.
Because if we are going to solve their problems today, we are not getting them ready for life.
Yeah. They have to go through that grunt.
They have to go through that grunt. There is nothing.
No shortcut.
There is no shortcut. And the more that we try to ease up their way, you will find that when they face those real life situations, they get stuck up.
Yeah. They get under pressure.
Yeah. They get under pressure, and there are so many other issues which then keep up cropping that we need to, then we have serious problems which arise.
It needs to be solved differently. No, I completely agree when you say that the parents really need to trust the process.
Yeah.
Which the school is sort of stitching it together.
Yeah, and I think, there are different types of schools.
Yeah.
Today, there are parents who probably are choosing schools because of names.
Yeah.
I think they need to really choose that what type of education does the school believe in? What is the philosophy of that school's education, and how does my vision fit into the scheme of things of how I want my child to grow. I think that match is very important.
And to an extent, choosing a school because of its brand name and reputation, to an extent, it's not wrong, because there are so many out there that you get confused where to go. So you go with the ones which has some recognition.
Correct. I mean, brand name is important. I'm not saying that it's not important. So I think what is important to see that philosophically, am I aligned
with
this institution?
Yes. There are many brands, so you are assigned to the brand where your philosophy is aligned.
Because I think then there's a match, and then you sort of sing in and go there. I mean, for example, I'll tell you, if I'm a parent who wants, like, holistic development of my child, and I put in a kid in a school where only focus is academics, it's a mismatch.
Yes.
So, it's then not going to sort of, look at that.
Understood. And I mean, DAIS has done really well as far as academics is concerned. But there is a very unique phenomena that happens at the school where you've been able to keep the children grounded and humble. How's that happened? Because, kids are coming from all walks of lives, they are together. But outside of academic river, there is a immense amount of groundedness and humbleness that has been given, which is a very difficult task, given that a lot of families are coming from wealth, from lots and lots of achievements. So how do you keep them grounded while giving them, in schools where there is high on academics, it's easier. One track, get your marks, and we don't care about anything. But you have cracked a very different formula. How?
I think when we started the school, Mrs. Ambani had a few ground rules that she set. One was that, she wanted education to be imparted both inside and outside the classroom equally. So that emphasis and the emphasis on Indian values. So I very proudly say outside that we are an Indian international school.
Yes.
An international school which has
an Indian soul too.
Which has an Indian soul. It has an Indian heart, mind and soul. And I think we do that by explicitly and implicitly putting that in our everyday life in school. So, there's somebody that I was talking to yesterday who said that it is very important to win with grace and lose with humility.
Very well said, sir.
Yeah. And I think those values, the Indian values, the Indianness that we were talking, we speak about in our school, it's a core element of who we are as an organization, who we are as an institution. And I feel that marks, grades, universities, placements will all happen. We believe in that culture of excellence which is embedded into this Indian ethos, Indian values. And most important is that we want to be a happy school. We want a school where a child will wake up every morning and love to come to school. I mean, there are children that I hear from parents, they just get very upset during the breaks and summer because they do not need to come, they can't get to school. And, that excitement.
That's a big win.
It's a big win if you can create. Because once you create that, the rest of the things are going to fall in place.
Absolutely.
So that is your most important aspect, is the love for that institution, the belongingness for the place that we are. And is everybody, and when I'm saying everybody, every single person of that institution. So the teachers should also look forward to come to school as the children are looking forward to coming to school.
Absolutely.
Because when you have hungry children who are happy and engaged in learning, and you have teachers who are equally excited to contribute,
that makes for a right recipe.
It's a right recipe for success. And, in Mrs. Ambani's words, I would say this, that, excellence is not an outcome, it's a process, it's a culture,
Yes.
right?
It's a mindset.
What is very important, it's a mindset. It's how we are, following excellence and chasing excellence in anything and everything that we do every day. It's not one day. And that is what drives and makes a great institution.
Absolutely. You've spoken about the Indian ethics and soul in the school. But the problem that comes with the Indian ethics and soul is the Indian parent also have a very strong overhang for performance.
Yeah.
And somewhere they lose out on their efforts or concentration around well-being. But at the school, this has been balanced, performance and well-being.
Yeah.
So what's going on in that framework? So how are we able to do that?
I think, we say that what is most important for us is that every child needs to be happy and looking forward to coming to school. And if that is there, and well-being is something which is not a separate element, but it is weaved into anything and everything that we do.
So that is subconsciously become part of your...
So now we have a system in the school where we have pastoral leaders and we have a head of student life and we have a head of learning. And both of these aspects sort of integrate quite seamlessly, like a right and a left hand of the same person.
Right.
And then only you can function properly. Because if your head is not clear, how can you learn?
Yeah.
So I think those are things which are important. And it needs to happen seamlessly, not as another thing that you're doing. It is something that you would like to do in a manner by which they understand, and everybody gets this messaging that, and if you like, if you're a teacher, you come into the class, you look at a child, you look at a class for a child, you would understand who is connected and who is not. And I think it's that power for us to really understand that what do we need to do if that child is not connected and why that child is not connected. I'm a firm believer of the fact that there is no one in this world who doesn't want to do well for themselves.
True.
Right? We need to find a reason.
Or a motivation.
Why they are not connected. Right? What is it that is preventing them? And if you are genuine with your effort, the child opens up to you.
Absolutely. So
they want that, in terms of childhood, I think I've seen that the kids are very connected with parents early on, and then they move away. And then after once they're in their early 20s, they again come back to the parents much, much closer, and they start confiding more. Yes. Because they have seen the rest of the world in that period of time where...
They realized that this was so important that they left behind.
Correct.
Yes.
And I think... to answer your question directly, I would say that parents need to give their children space. They need to trust their children. They need to champion their causes. But there has to be a firm parenting style as well, where they're showing them the reality. Without removing those hindrances that they would face in their daily life. Because then you are not giving them a reality check of life.
And this is a very fine balance.
It is a very, very fine balance.
And more often than not, people do get it wrong. And I think, and that is where the students, get the brunt of it as they get into the pressure and burnouts.
So pressures and burnouts will happen, and it is normal, it's reality.
Maybe it's also part of the process of...
And I think every child needs to know that failure is part of life. You learn more when you're not getting it than when you're getting it.
Right.
And I think, how do we drive that message clear? I always say to the staff that if we are too afraid to try new things, we will never succeed. We'll never be a greater organization.
All right.
So we cannot have that fear of failure. We all take decisions every day.
Yeah.
You take 10 decisions, maybe 8 will work, some days 9 will work, some days 7 will work. But what doesn't work, we need to analyze them.
Yeah. Rather than not taking a decision.
Rather than not taking those risks. Because if you're not going to take, those risks, then you're never going to grow.
Yeah.
But then there's that balance of, like, if you're taking 10 decisions and all of 10 is wrong, then there's something seriously wrong on your judgment call.
Yeah. You've spoken a lot about how the staff, the teachers, they enter the class, they're able to assess what is the connectedness, who's connected, who's not connected.
Yeah.
So is there something that goes behind in the training, in the orientation, in the way you recruit teachers and handhold them? So what's the secret sauce there?
I think what is really important is that, first of all, I find that we spend a lot of time, Aakash, in actually interviewing teachers and identify people who will be a good match. And for me, the personality is more important than what they also bring into the table in terms of that expertise.
Yeah.
Because you can learn certain things, you can never learn an attitude. If the attitude and the grounding is incorrect to the philosophy of the school, and if it's not a good match, then it's a non-starter. And then obviously we need to work with every single person.
Yeah.
We have a clear goal setting process by which people need to identify. They need to be guided through. And they need to sort of move on to from where they are. The focus should be that let's all be a best version of ourselves.
Reach our own
or
potential.
let us say better version of ourselves the next year.
Yeah.
Right? And then what do we do in order to identify, what we can?
Absolutely. And what you're saying makes so much sense. But surprisingly, there are a lot of schools out there who are well funded, who are at the right places, who have a lot of history, but they're somewhere missing. So what's going on when you meet people? So where are it's a message for educators.
I think, I put it this way.
Yeah.
That schools fills positions and they find the correct match. There's a difference between that.
Yes.
Are you filling a position? Is it a tick box?
That's a very important point you're raising.
Is it a tick box that you're doing?
My job is done.
Yeah. Or are you finding the right person who will be the right match for that, what you're looking at
that time?
Yeah. Qualitative aspects carry more value. So every person who comes in, I mean, we have at least, 8, 10 people who sort of interact with them. And we take feedback from them collectively to see what they feel on how is the match in terms of the school. So first is, are they a good match for the school? The second is, how are they going to impact the whole learning process? So I think that is one and this is two.
Absolutely.
Because the second part, wherever they are in their journey, they all need to adapt to the particular school.
Yeah.
They all need to progress, and every teacher will mature and grow, and everybody is not going to be at their peak of things
all the time.
All the time, right? So, but you need to understand also what is high potential.
Yeah.
Like I always say that, people who are, emotionally, well-grounded, values needs to be strong. And, they can thrive in an academically intense atmosphere. Those are sort of people who would be successful. We have very high achieving kids in the school. So if you are not at the top of your game,
then you're missing out on something.
Yeah, the kids will miss out.
Yeah.
And I always also think that for every child, that class, there will only be once. So all decisions that we take, we try and put in an atmosphere by which we say, okay, is this, I always say that, is this the person that I would like my child to be in the class with?
Spending time with and learning from there and their philosophies, of course.
Because, you need to actually mirror what you want from the child.
True.
So, this whole aspect of excellence, but then, the balance of not having a burnout, I think one of the things that we do is that we consciously calibrate the expectations in which we teach students how to basically manage themselves. And where, we try and build in student voice in decision making as much as we can. We also ensure that, this whole excellence is about their personal growth. It's not about a comparison with someone.
Correct. They have to compete with themselves and make a better version of themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that is really something which is also natural. But what really needs to drive this whole thing is joyful learning.
Right.
See, I think where I think we really overstress and hype about outcomes. If we stop that and say that trust the process, trust yourself, be a better version of yourself, and what is your goal setting in terms of where you want to go from where you are, you'll be a stronger person
for sure
than what you were. And that self-reflection. Reflection is a very powerful tool. And I think not too many people, do that well.
It's a very powerful tool.
Yeah. And, you'd be really surprised to see how nursery students are doing reflection.
Right.
3-year-olds. And when we started this whole process of reflecting on your term, there were a lot of people who said, oh, how will a 2.5, 3-year-old reflect? But they reflect in their own age-appropriate manner.
In fact, they reflect better because they have no adulteration there.
Yeah.
There's no, they're very pure in their thinking.
Yeah. So they're basically children. I love being with the youngest lot because they're absolutely without filter. And there's no inhibition before they speak. It's just that as we mature, with all the rest of the learnings, we just want to be polished, and somewhere we miss that.
Yeah. In fact, what you're saying is so relevant when you're saying that you enjoy the most of your time with the younger ones. I have often seen that to bring the best out of them in the learning process, a lot of educationists, they spend time, money and effort in creating infrastructure that look good instead of creating spaces and infrastructure that can enable the pedagogy that we are trying to deliver or the learning environment that we are trying to create. So the sense or the rightness in investing either to make the buildings look good rather than buildings doing the job even better for the teachers.
I think this whole aspect of having an educational input while you're building the infrastructure is really important. So
and which is completely undermined by most people who build schools.
So we built our first school, DAIS, in 2001-2, and at that point of time, it was envisioned that it would be a national curriculum school and will also be doing the IGCSE and the diploma program.
Right.
And I think as we progress from there to where we are today with the Nita Mukesh Ambani Junior School, which is completely built around the principle of flexibility. There is flexibility in mind. There is flexibility in learning space. So if you actually come on to any of our, learning floors, and, you can actually open up the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we want one step forward for our But then it created those large, different types of spaces which were needed for the type of learning that is happening. And I can see this, how space creation impacts learning directly.
It does,
Although
right?
it does, 100% it does. In the early years, we say that we are going to do learning through play. And that whole learning through play concept we built in by building no walls. So we have almost 60,000 square feet, which is synchronous between indoors and outdoors with no walls.
And that has...
And they do center-based learning, so they move on.
Okay.
They decide what they want to choose. So we are bringing in that student voice and choice in terms of what they want to do and how they want to learn, and bringing in, aspects of reflection. And then we are checking for understanding to see where they stand or where they should be with their numeracy and literacy. Those are the key things in early years.
Yeah.
And how do we then support the kids who are behind, and how do we, challenge the kids who are ahead? So, there are a few things when we did this whole transformation which was important, that we wanted pace-based learning. That is, every child should learn at their own pace. Easy to say, difficult to do.
Very difficult.
So we are doing it in a combination of number of people we have in the classroom. So like we have 4 teachers to 30 students and specials, and using technology to differentiate instruction. So we are using AI quite a bit, in terms of how to differentiate instruction, how to extend instruction, and how to support the children as they want to do. So it's a combination of everything.
Right.
But then you can see gradually how things are falling in place.
Right.
And you know that you are in the right direction.
And, when we talk about sort of innovating with the spaces to bring out the learning, the other challenge that, we have always seen, that we want to bring in the traits like creativity. We want children to take risks, but they have to fight a battle at home because their parents have gone through a certain regime and they don't want to, change their thought processes, that this is your career. It has been successful for me. You should follow the pattern. You should follow the same, same stream, whether it is sciences, whether it is engineering, medicine, law. So how are you actually giving them confidence that go ahead, take the risk? We are here to support you. We are here to nurture you. Because a lot of times, students just come back and say that, my family is not supporting me and I'm not willing to take risk. And that is where, the nurturing that we've always wanted them, that will help them for the rest of their lives, gets suppressed there. So how are you changing that?
So I think we do it in a sort of multi-pronged manner.
Okay.
First of all, I would say that we let the parents and students understand that holistic growth is something which can actually drive them and make them more successful in life.
Yeah.
That's point number 1. And I think we also say that this whole aspect of mind, body, and character, they're all equally important.
Yes.
How do you, let them understand that the sports is helping them to build resilience? Right? How do you help them to bring that teamwork and discipline? Children must understand that it's not about I and me, it's about we and us. In future, for them to be successful, they have to work with people. So the skill sets which are important is collaboration.
Yeah.
The skill set which is important are the skills that they actually gather. But then they must understand that diverse viewpoints are very important to come through. So the parent perspective that you're saying that, okay, I was successful here. And, the child is saying, I want to do something different here. I think it's it's important for them to understand that that is a perspective that they're bringing in. The parents are bringing in. We need to support the parents. We are doing a lot of parenting workshops in the school.
Opening up their minds and outlook.
Yeah. So through the year, there was somebody who just told me, who is an alumni,
Okay.
and who told me, sir, I have come to the school already more than that my parents have come to the school in my entire life. And this is 1 year of this alumni's child in school.
Wow.
So one of the things that we really realize is that the only way that we could do this successfully is by putting the parents on board to let them understand what is the learning which is happening, what is the role of the parent, and where they can support. We put all the learning on one platform so that they can actually see, they can comment, and they can see the growth of that individual.
So they feel part of the learning
process. Once they are part of the learning process, they are going to support their child.
They collaborate and support.
Yeah. But then, so this is one part which is part of the learning process. The second part is the parenting story, which is different.
Right.
And I think it's a combination of both, which leads to successful alignment of convergent views, if I may put it that way.
Right. And the curriculum is global and international in its nature, in its framework. But how are you preparing them to be actually do well in a global environment, to accept the global outlook? So are there any intervention that you are doing that is giving them that confidence that, okay, I've got my, IB scores, I've got my admissions, but will I be successful? Will I settle in? Will I fit in to a global environment? Do I have that in me? And have I been prepared with that outlook?
So there are two aspects to this particular way of doing things. I think one is that the curriculum that we teach in the school, we have written their own curriculum. We have curriculum handbooks all across all domains. And when we put it all together, we looked at and we aligned that whole process to see that how that's going to prepare, and through backward integration of what is expected for a child to be when they leave school. So you just then backward integrate, because part of what we offer at the school, part of the school is a prescribed curriculum and part of the school is a written curriculum by us. And a combination of both of these should prepare them for life. Right? So, there is something in the IB which we call as approaches to teaching and learning.
Right.
Which are skills for life. And then we see that how are they aligned strongly enough, which will give them those abilities, to navigate life. I won't say
at any platform.
At any platform.
Yeah.
Because ATLs are, it is not belonging to an exam board.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm again talking about the process, probably I'm repeating myself again. I truly believe that if we are looking at what drives that learning and how we can empower the children to take charge of their own learning through these skill sets, they become a better version of themselves.
Absolutely.
To be successful at any environment that
any environment or any program.
Because one thing that they need to, again, I'll come back to what I started with here. The world is very different today. Yeah.
And changing very fast.
And it's changing at a pace that we will see a very different version of schools and universities. I feel we are in a transition for that.
Yeah.
By the time these children who are in nursery, they will come out of school, university education will look very different. So at that point of time, I think they need three aspects. And I think I'll come back to what I said at the beginning. The mind, the body, and the character. The mind to make them resilient to whatever scenarios that they will face. the body and the skill sets which will give them the grounding of to progress,
Right.
and the character to make them grounded
Hmm.
to where they are, so that because in life you come to those junctures where there are two roads to take. How do we teach the children to take the right one? It's not that they will not take the right one at some times.
Yeah. They will go
But-
wrong. They could go wrong.
Yeah, they will.
But they have to have the ability to identify where they're going wrong and then turn around.
Yeah.
Because of the footings that they've
Yeah.
been given.
So I feel roles of schools
Yeah.
more and more going forward will be building the whole child.
Yeah.
Will be giving them a good grounding. And will be setting a process for learning.
For life, for them.
The rest will happen.
And
if you give all of these, the rest is going to happen.
And do you see a change in the expectation? Because when you started, how the global education was looked at, there was a lot of emphasis on ROI, that I'm sending my kid out, I'm sending to a school. This is what I want back. I want a job, I want a career, I want a good college, I want a, there was a ROI thought process. Is it still the ROI process, or people are accepting that, my ROI is not the demographic, but it is the change in psychographic, that how my child thinks today versus what my child achieves today. So have you seen a transition from the global bodies? Let's say even IB. Are they asking you to change the way that they started off with, or it's just the same and you are adapting basis your environment?
No, I think, one thing that I really like about IB is that they have, as time has moved along,
They've kept pace?
They have kept pace with that. And they're making those changes. They're focusing on areas which are more important in building good human beings. Focusing on the process of learning rather than the product.
And the weightage of that has increased? Good human being focus?
I don't think the weightage is there.
Okay.
There is any weightage there.
Okay.
But I think the emphasis is more on the process.
So it's become non-negotiable.
Yeah,
that
the
you have to do it.
emphasis is more on the process. So how we are driving, like the 8 years that we talk about, how we are driving an IB philosophy in the school. I mean, those are, you can't really, those are not really tangible stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it can be very different in different contexts. So how do we do that sort of successfully? And I think, see, there are different types of schools. There are schools who will first struggle to figure out what this whole exam board is all about.
Yeah.
And I think once they champion that, then they will, look into these finer nuances, what I'm talking about.
Right.
But what my message will be to the leaders is that don't try and do a playbook of successful schools to your context, because all the schools are different.
Create your own constitution.
Yeah. Create your own playbook. Create the things which will make children successful from the context that you are.
Yeah.
Because the context is very different.
And in your view, feel free to disagree with me on this.
Yeah.
Has the schools really understood what an IB framework is and what it needs from Indian educators to really implement in the right spirit and in the right expectations that they have sort of envisioned? There are very few schools. And if I were to ask...
There are 4 types of IB schools in India.
Okay, 4 types of... Which are?
I think there are schools who are national curriculum schools.
Okay.
Who are doing the IB.
Okay. When you say national, like CBSE, ICSE?
Yeah, because they are also doing the IB and maybe doing one...
They're doing dual curriculums?
Yeah, they're doing dual curriculums where they're doing one of the programs.
Okay.
There are schools who are a combination of Cambridge and IB schools.
Right.
Yeah. There are schools which are fully IB schools. They're doing
The
all
continuum,
program IB,
yeah.
continuum schools. And then there are schools who are doing the IB program in an IB way.
Oh,
Okay.
so
I would say that
even the continuum are not
being
doing
in
it
a
IB way.
continuum school, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because you see, you have to understand that when schools get into a new program, the first challenge is to understand the rubric, understand what it really takes to develop and to deliver a successful program. Once you have championed that bit, it takes 5 to 7 years to do that. It doesn't happen automatic.
Right. And most parents don't know what you're just saying because they just see the board outside and they just go for the school.
Yeah. So like if you're a school, we're doing a national curriculum and an international curriculum both together and an IB program, then you have different priorities which are there.
And you're switching gears every single day.
Every single day. And I think when we made this whole change in 2019, 2020, where we said that, where are the parents from our school? Where are the children going? And what is it that we are looking at? What is the parents who are looking at from the school? We decided to be a fully, international school 3 program, and it's actually looking at what was wanted.
And you feel that is India ready for a full-blown, absolutely IB framework delivered program?
I think we are ready we are ready as a nation.
Okay.
Our school education, and people are not going to like this, what I'm going to say next. Our school education has really transformed. I am seeing IB schools today in tier 4 cities. I am seeing IB schools today in places which does not have a direct airport connection. See, as a country, we have always valued education.
Yes.
Right? We are getting governments who are tying up with the IB to see how they want to take it. And I think that those projects are in its infancy today.
But positive.
But is our higher education ready for accommodating these children into, we are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What I did when I was in college, which is now 30 years.
30 years.
Right? It's about 30 years that I left university.
And what was happening then?
At that point of time, I think there are minute changes.
Yeah.
But pretty much it's roughly the same.
Yeah.
So when you're going to have, today we have 1,000 IB schools in India, 1,000 international schools in India.
Yeah.
About 600-700 Cambridge and about 250 odd, I think, roughly ballpoint numbers, IB schools.
And not all of them are continuum.
No, not all of them are continuum schools. And this number is going to grow.
Yes.
Because there are lots who are in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And when you look at this whole thing, we then need to look at universities which are going to
accept these students
or will provide a framework where these children are going to find learning interesting.
Yeah. Because after doing such intimate, evolved education framework, you go back to rote learning college in India. It's an absolute disservice to the effort that they've.
Yeah.
And that is why most students
are going abroad.
Many
students are going abroad because, there are so many children and there are so many people who have told me that my first 3 years in graduation, it was a complete waste of time. We learned nothing.
And you talk about the Indian graduation.
Yeah.
And I also sort of agree with that because I also felt the same.
Yeah. And, actually happens from third year onwards.
Yeah.
The first couple of years is absolutely a breeze. And there is no continuous assessment and all of those things, which needs correction.
Yeah.
And I think, there are new universities which are coming along.
Do you think, is that a hope, or they are too small right now in number and in
Number wise, we are, all these
to make
schools
an
are
impact?
really too small.
Hmm.
But I think in the bigger picture,
Hmm.
if we are going to put the NEP 2020 in action,
Yeah.
we need to think about it. Of how can we do this with a school that many who are there, where quality teachers are not there who can promote this whole thing.
Hmm. Absolutely. And
All across the country, I think we need to give a lot more dignity to the profession of teaching.
why
Because
that never happens? We've spoken a lot
it's happening today in international
about
schools,
teaching as a career.
teaching as a career. I can see now there are fresh graduates who are coming along because with international schools, they can see that they can make a career out of it.
And they can create an impact. They can
create
bring
an
a learning
impact. They can bring in learning and all of that. And there are a lot of new, fresh.
and be economically fine also.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that is very important.
Yes. Absolutely.
At the end of the day, you have to pay the bills.
A lot of time, people, mostly parents, see schooling education as an education for an outcome. But in your experience, what you have done with DAIS, you've actually added a lot of purpose in education, which is fairly away from clinical. You come in, I do these many hours, and I deliver you a child who's ready to take a degree. Now you're delivering kids who've identified, this is a career or a purpose that I would like to pursue. So how were you able to bring, the purpose conversation at a schooling level, which most people sort of figure out or chance upon after graduation or during their work years?
I think a strong focus on letting the students identify that what they really want to do and what are the things that they like, what are the things that they really love to do. I keep telling people that look at something that you would love to do waking up every morning, that you would be excited to go and do that, as long as that is there. But then for these children today who are in school, it is not just that love, but also they need to adapt to the changing scenarios. I am already seeing students who graduated IB in 2005. They're in their third career.
In the third career?
Yeah.
Wow.
Some definitely in their second career. There are very few who have continued in the one. So gone are those days where you started and finished with
same career as you got into.
Yeah. So I think our generation, in my generation also, there are a lot of people who have changed careers.
And that is what you think will be the trend going forward, that people
100%.
will be open to such experimentation?
100%.
And go in with,
go
no
in with
strings
that
attached.
sort of no strings attached idea that I want to do this. And what I'm also seeing now, that people are saying that after doing this for 10 years, I'm not happy doing this. So why should I do this?
Earlier people would not dare.
This is this whole Gen Z, approach.
Yeah.
That if you are not happy and content with what you are doing, why do you do it?
Because their standard of living and other problems have been solved. They are working more on, how do we improve the quality and the outcomes of our everyday life.
But is that true for the whole of India? I don't think so.
It's not. But they all are thinking like this.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, to your point.
But the whole Gen Z across the country, I think they are very today like, I'll only do this if I'm happy. If it makes sense to me, if I'm happy to go to do that and all of that. And that is leading to change of this sort of,
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is happening.
And have you seen the change in handling teenagers and this age group children in your school versus when you started off and now?
Definitely.
What is that change?
I would say when I started teaching, and I think I'm around close to 30 years in education now, getting close to 30 years in education. When I started off, I feel that I saw a lot of innocence in children, naughtiness in children, which is natural.
Natural.
I don't see that too
It's
much.
a trademark.
I don't see that too much nowadays, and I worry for that because I
worry
think,
for that. What do you see?
I see too much of focus, but then that also leads to burnouts.
And this focus is because of expectations?
That focus is because I think it's coming from parents, a little bit of over pushing, and try to do this, try to do that. Parents were not so focused 20 years ago what they are today.
And their defense is that, we were not aware. Now that we are aware, we want to push it back.
Yeah. Smaller families, smaller families, fewer children, they have more time to spend. That's what I was talking about in parenting bit, right?
Yeah.
Where I think there are flip sides of both. One being connected, one not being connected. Removing the hindrances. So you get upset at the first hindrance that you get.
Yeah. So this is something that we are also experiencing. But do you see this, completely impacting the way, the kinds of career, the kind of success, the kind of achievement these kids will have? Or will there be a sort of a dent in it?
See, today's world is very different. People are living it through an Instagram reel. They want instant gratification at everything that they do.
Yeah.
And that has an impact. In fact, I was in Boston last week, and I was in a conference where social emotional learning was being talked about. I looked at some data. Something very interesting.
Yep.
That this whole story of mental health issues and dealing with social emotional learning, if you look at the data around the world, all of this anxiety, it started around 2008, 2010 with
smartphone.
It's directly impacted with smartphone and social media.
Wow.
And that takes a real spike from about 2008 to 2013, 14. Then there's a dip. After that, there is again another spike post the pandemic.
And it's not slowing.
Asia, interestingly.
Okay.
This is like...
Oh, they had a cut for region.
So I looked at the data, then I looked at this cut from region. Interestingly, Asia was about 5 years behind. So then I tried to connect that when did really social media come in India? And it actually made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because yes, iPhones were out in 2008, but a lot of the
Asians didn't have access to it.
A lot of us didn't have access to iPhones at that point of time.
Yeah.
Haves and have-nots, right? So the data is there, but the spike is not there. The spike is 3 to 4 years later. So when I talk about instant gratification, instant satisfaction, and living in that moment whole thing, that also gives you so much anxiety of how many friends do I have, who is giving me so many likes. These are all things that...
And they really play with the
human
behavior.
It was not there yesterday.
So is there something that can be done for this, as someone, who has...
I think we really need to... I do not know how we can...
Can we lobby for it that not to have access?
I mean, there are countries which are
they have gone ahead and banned for kids below 16 years.
But people are still using it.
Yeah.
And then everybody keeps saying that, but that other child uses. There are a lot of people. So everybody's giving an excuse on why their child... I mean, why should a child have a phone?
Yeah. At least not the smartphone.
Give them a box phone if they really need to contact you.
Yeah.
And I do not know whether you have noticed, but I have noticed this, and this is all across countries. You go in the morning or go during dinner time into a restaurant, see how many people are.
Talking versus on phone.
No, it's the children who are actually eating because the phone is in front of them and they're playing some game.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
I see this, and I travel around the world. I see it in different.
How's the food getting registered in your mind when your mind is on the screen?
Yeah. So I think we are again trying to find out easy solutions, and we're looking at that moment. We are not looking at a big picture.
Is there a solution for this?
I think a solution is very hard and fast. Clear settings to say that, like no phones during eating, or no usage of phones.
So you have to get down to
at certain point of time.
Yeah. Make those hard rules.
Yeah.
Even for the household.
For the household mostly, because children, in India, in India you do not allow phones in schools.
Yeah.
As per law.
Yeah. And do you see this problem growing and becoming uglier, or do you feel that there is a solution in sight that is coming for us?
I think people are becoming more aware of the new age parents are more aware. Because they have gone through this.
Yes.
See, the people who are parents now, at this point of time, they were the first generation who went through that whole iPhone, social media. Not probably the 2008-9 ones, but the 10-12 ones is when really the hype came along.
Right.
And they're aware, and they're somewhere restricting.
And the other problem in this context, on the flip side, is that because of AI, that is another force, a massive force that is coming in our way.
I was, in the same thing. I think we discussed 3 major topics. One was about leaderships and, leadership style and all of that. And one was AI and one was ACL. And it's really mind-boggling what AI is capable of doing. I think the more that you think of what it's capable of doing, it's really scary. Today, previously we said that you could believe what you saw.
Yeah.
Today you cannot.
Anything
even
can
what
be
you see,
fakely driven.
Yeah, I mean there are so many. I do not know. If you see, there are so many of these videos which keeps coming, and I say, is it true?
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Will the education for future will change because of AI? Because today the teachers, if they use it right, they can teach better. But if they misuse it, they can actually sort of work around the system and deliver a shoddy work, which is not even relevant. And same is with the students. I mean, doing all their homework, assignments, is the flip side.
And I think, the solution is not doing AI. Because you cannot stop this today.
So you can't stay away from it. You need to create controls.
You need to create a framework which tells
how to use it.
And
how much to use it.
Yeah. What is doable,
or maybe change our assessment and ask.
Yeah. No, like, if you look at the new IB policy on AI, they're saying that you can use AI, but you need to tell us all the prompts that you gave to create this paper.
So at least we know your thinking.
Yeah. And then what are the different changes? But the whole product cannot be coming out of AI.
Which is a difficult ask, actually.
Yeah. So, and I think when this came around 3 years ago first, where people started using it, I again said that if a teacher looks at a piece of paper produced by a student and does not understand whether it's the student's work or not, then that teacher should not be in the classroom.
Oh, the teachers will have to up their game significantly to remain better.
I mean, every teacher knows their child.
Yeah.
They know what they are capable of writing.
They should be able to identify is what you're saying. Yeah.
So if you are if you are again looking at the process where you say, okay, this is the work that we are going to do, show me a draft, show me what is your plan, then write it, and then you suddenly get a finished product which is so different, you will question it.
Yeah.
And the best thing is that you take that piece of work which is given and ask them questions. They will not be able to answer anything. So you know that it's not their work.
So you need to know your children even better.
Yeah. So I think that will be a challenge coming forward for all the teachers, that do they really know their children, who they are in the classroom.
Interesting.
Every teacher, if they're a teacher, if they're connected to what they should be doing, they definitely know what is capable to be written by that child and what is not their child's work. Because they are the only people who are seeing what they're writing in the classroom.
Yes. So you can't be just superficial about the teaching process. You need to go deep. And for that, you need to be trained.
Yeah.
To go few layers down to understand your children and your cohort, so that you can drive them correctly even in this age of AI.
It's again comes to human connections. So there's something interesting someone told me the other day. I think it came out of one of the sessions.
Yeah.
They said that transactional stuff going forward would be done by AI. Transformational stuff would be done through human beings.
Absolutely.
And that is the difference as we move forward.
So right.
So, you know, if you connect all these dots today, it is not I and me, it is we.
True.
Right? How do we communicate and collaborate? Do we have the basic skill sets? Because the skill sets will give us some grounding, but you need to constantly adapt.
Yeah.
You need to be emotionally stable and strong to navigate your way through the changing world.
Absolutely.
And be grounded in the values. That tells you what is right or
you
wrong.
Can't lose sight of that.
That is very important.
Yeah.
I think then that's going in that direction.
You know, as they say that the quality of roots define the quality of shoots. Yeah. And we can't just keep our eyes off from that. And to that point, you know, I want to ask my next question, which is, if you were, you know, given the power to change one thing, you know, in the schooling system at the policy level, or let's say the mindset level or practice level, what is that that you think should be brought in?
I think the first thing that I would do would be a national mindset change of marks and grades to learning.
Move from marks, grades to learning. Measure that.
Yeah, measure the process of learning.
Not how you reproduce.
No. And I think the second part that would be is I would like to redefine success by transforming assessments, the teaching practices, parental expectations, and student well-being across the country.
I think changing the assessment is a very important part, because earlier the assessment was who can solve in given time. Now AI is doing a lot of that, so you want to change the way the future assessment has.
As I said, transactional
versus
transformational. So we need to look at our assessment to see that what are those transformational practices where
separate them out,
where we would be relevant.
Yeah.
Today there are a lot of people who will not find those entry-level jobs because that's where AI is coming in.
And they won't. And increasingly it will become difficult.
Increasingly it will become difficult.
Yeah.
So we need to measure on how we can do that. But I think as a country, and I think this is very my personal viewpoint, is that all of this will drive entrepreneurship.
Which is again...
which will generate employment.
Which is the need of the hour. And that's how the US became the US.
Yeah.
Because they built on a massive amount of entrepreneurship at all levels, all sectors, and all pockets?
I think it would sort of happen
Hmm.
at some point of time.
And do you think that India will completely switch away from the traditional schooling models to international schooling models that are far more progressive? Or do you think that there is a segment in this country that will continue to stay with the traditional because it is going to serve a purpose?
I personally feel that traditional models have to evolve.
Okay.
So the future would demand flexible thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The future would demand interdisciplinary learning,
Mm-hmm.
and whether we like it or not, it will demand collaboration. It will demand student agency. And there'll be a place for traditional schools, but they need to build this in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you close...
They will have to upgrade.
Yeah. If you look through the NEP,
2020,
the whole model, I think it has got elements
yeah,
of building all of these aspects. But then, as I said, different types of schools.
yeah,
Where are you in that journey to take that plunge to make those changes? So schools have to become an ecosystem where they nurture curiosity, where they nurture innovation, focus on well-being, and focus on building good human beings.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is building good human beings.
And that's how schools came into existence.
Yeah.
That was the purpose. So, what is that one message that you would like to give students who are going outside the walls and gates of schools and getting themselves ready for the world? What is it that they should keep in mind when they enter into this world?
So I think my message to students who will step beyond school is that my advice is that stay curious. My advice would be to stay grounded and also to stay adaptable.
Adaptable.
Yeah. Those will be the three key areas, because as they enter a world which is uncertain and it's rapidly changing, it also, on a flip side, gives them a huge emerging possibilities that the others never had.
Give them the edge.
Yeah. So if they are adaptable, if they are grounded, if they are curious, if they are constantly looking for opportunities, it will then let them succeed if they are resilient, if they have got the empathy, if they can communicate and work in teams, and also if they have the confidence.
Yeah.
And we as parents and schools, we must give them that confidence in terms of, and champion them when it need to, so that they know they need to trust themselves.
Yeah.
So if they do, I'm sure, we will move forward. Yeah. They must understand that failure is not a setback, but it's a learning.
It's a data point for the next prep.
And it will open more doors the next time, because they will be better prepared.
Yeah.
They must understand that well-being is not optional. It is a foundational aspect.
Yeah.
And whenever they need help, they need to reach out to people
around, to have that connected confidence
rather than keeping it within themselves.
Right.
And so if we can combine that curiosity with courage, we can combine the values with hard work, they will navigate through an ever-changing world. You're giving them power.
And the right mindset.
Right mindset.
Absolutely.
And today, Aakash, if you go back, look at the children you had in your class.
Yeah.
Look at where they are today. Yeah. Look at what made them. What was it? Grades and numbers.
These were these characteristics that you just mentioned.
Yeah. Who can navigate this changing world? And do you have the skill sets?
It goes back to the Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest,
Yeah.
who has been able to
And
adapt.
I feel in some way, I keep telling, I'm a biology teacher, right? So I always bring in Darwin and neo-Darwinism and all of that at times to say that I think this is still alive because
Still alive.
because
Still so relevant.
it is so relevant in what we are doing.
Yeah. And if I were to ask that for the educators and the teachers, in this age of AI, in this age of geopolitical changes that are coming up, parental expectations are very, very different. They're through the roof. So how should teacher navigate? What is the message for teachers and educators and administrators?
I think you please need to know your child. That is the most important aspect. And nothing is more important than a student in your classroom.
Yeah. Priorities have to be very clear.
Clear. Make the most, I set a benchmark for myself when I was in active teaching. That if I look at my watch, my lesson is not engaging.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's a sign.
And I told myself that this was the best lesson I did today. Because I didn't even hear the bell when it rang. But the future of schooling is going to come when there won't be any bells.
Oh, wow.
I don't think you will see these sort of timed areas and stuff like that.
Siloed learning time periods.
You will see going forward, the children are going to learn at the pace that they want. They will be at the same age. They will be in different stages of learning.
At the depth that they like.
Yeah.
Will it be possible to handle such diversity at the same time?
I do not know, honestly. Especially.
But you see that is the direction?
I see it will happen.
Okay.
Probably how it will transverse, how quickly it will happen, what role technology will play. I think those are all very important aspects.
And what is your message for the parents? I mean, they are anxious, curious, angry, afraid, all mixed feelings.
I would say that be a firm but warm parent.
Firm but warm.
Yeah. I would say that let's provide boundaries with empathy and explanation. Children thrive when they understand the why.
Otherwise, they feel it forced.
Yeah. And I think avoid this snow-plowing parenting.
Which is snow-plowing? Like, how do you...
I would say that by removing the obstacles.
Don't let them fight for it.
Yeah.
That's what they're clearing the way for them.
Yeah. You're clearing the way, but you are then not building resilience.
Which they so much need.
Yeah. In today's world, resilience is very important.
Yeah.
The child should have the courage of getting up when they fall. Hold their hand when they are falling, but let them get up themselves.
Yeah.
Let them find their way. We need to be courageous for honest, age-appropriate conversations with emotions. They must feel that the home is a safe place to discuss anything and everything.
Open their heart out.
Yeah. We can't have that distance that we used to have with our parents. Because families are smaller, then these children will go on the internet and Instagram and ask those questions that nobody is answering for them at home.
And you don't know what answer they'll find.
You do not know what answers they will find.
And accept it as reality.
Yeah. And then I think they must know that there is no topic which is off limit, however embarrassing it may be.
That is,
and they must know that whatever happens, your parent is there behind you to champion you. So that's what I said. Firm, yet warm. And it's a very difficult combination. Model the behavior that you expect from your child. You expect them to, look at. So aspects like empathy, respectful disagreements, how to behave in conflict resolution, conflict situations. Because conflict is going to happen, boss. You cannot avoid conflicts in life.
Yeah. They will be there every corner.
How do they navigate those? Give them the skill set so that they can navigate and they can decide their path forward. Create a home atmosphere which is built by trust, openness, and psychological safety. Every child needs to feel safe by expressing themselves at home.
Which wasn't the case earlier. In
No,
our
it
times.
It wasn't.
We dare not.
We never opened up so much to our parents. We kept so much inside.
Yeah.
We had so many questions and nobody to answer them. At that point of time, there was not the internet. So we used to go to the friends who were a little more matured than you, probably.
The bade bhaiyas.
Or to the elder brothers
Yeah.
but the extended family was there.
Yeah.
So we all got sorted between the extended family.
Yeah.
Today, the extended family is Instagram.
But we did make our own presumptions then, which
Yeah.
may or may not be.
And many of us did wrong presumptions and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that that was the correct version.
Yeah.
And this is the correct version. Neither of these versions should lead children to, people who do not know what is the correct answer.
Yeah.
And parents should not hesitate to ask for help. It's your child.
Yes.
Nobody is perfect in this world.
Absolutely.
Right? We need to accept of who we are as people. We need to accept that we are all different. But can we be a better version of ourselves?
Yeah. That is the most important question. And that brings me to my last question, which is if you were to look back, on your journey at the DAIS and think of students who have accomplished and flourished at the school, at the institution, what is that one single thing that you can point out that you did differently that made them who they were, and they, even till today, they thank you that this is what we got from the school?
So this is very interesting because most of the naughtiest of the ones who were in the class, and they used to probably hate me at that point of time of correcting them to everything that they were doing wrong. They said that, sir, those boundaries that you set for us helped us to go where we were. I firmly believe, and I truly believe even today, that there is no child who doesn't want to do well for themselves. It's just that you need to connect with what you really love. Right? And I have seen one thing with every child. The moment they found their purpose, they flourished.
And then they're on their own. There's sustainable effort.
Yeah. But you need to find your purpose.
Yeah.
What is it that makes you happy to jump out of the bed, to say that this is what I want to do day in, day out, every day?
Makes you click.
Yeah. We all will have challenges in life that life is going to throw at us. From the work, from the family, from our surroundings and everything else. But we have to have those skills to navigate.
Absolutely. No, this is very, very helpful. So before we end this wonderful session, some important rapid fire questions I have for you. One book that you think every student must read. It's a very important thing that they must go through that book. Does any name come to your mind?
I think one which comes very quickly is that Stephen Covey book of 8th Habit, because I think it really organizes you as a person and it gives you a lot of skill sets which makes you successful in life.
Yeah.
If I can probably think of a second one, I would probably say The Permission to Feel. I was recently reading a very, very powerful book in social emotional learning.
Okay.
And I'm reading some books on AI now recently.
Wow.
Which is telling me, in terms of how the world is getting. So these are my three-prong areas at this point.
You would like the children to go through.
Yeah, because they need to understand what's coming.
Yeah. And is there any belief about education that you have recently changed? You believed in it for so long, and today.
So I so many changes, I would say.
Anything that
I
stands out?
believe that, like educational, that grind was important when I started off.
Yeah.
And I think it's not important. I think what is really important is we need to love what we do. And I think I am a firm believer of that today. We need to understand our students. You actually mellow down a lot as you get as you get experience, as you get wiser. So I would say that I was much harsher to the students that I dealt with in the earlier phase of my life rather than later. Because I was mature at that point of time. And I had some hard and fast rules of what was correct, what was wrong. And I think only later you realize that is not correct. That's not the right way of doing it.
Right. And if I were to ask you, what is that one thing that schools really go overboard and overemphasize, which they should stop?
Grades, numbers, placements. Doesn't define a school.
Doesn't.
Focus on learning, grades will happen.
Focus and commit to the process of learning.
Product. I think that is something which will
take care of.
Yeah. And let us celebrate every child in our schools, whoever they are. As a school, whichever school we are, we need to celebrate our students. You can't imagine how much...
Unfortunately, we just celebrate the ones who...
Yeah, we need to celebrate all the students.
All, yeah.
And we need to celebrate all the different types of achievements that they bring in.
True. Not only just academic or...
Not only academic, but all the different things. Children are hungry to hear that word of praise.
Yes.
If we can praise every child every day, even every teacher, if we can praise them in their own way, they'll be all different individuals. We are all hungry to...
And they'll give more than 100%.
Give a pat at the back and to say that, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. And what is it on the flip side? What do the schools really under-emphasize that they should?
I think this whole SEL and AI, I don't think everybody is still getting it, how deeper...
The social emotional learning and the AI impact.
Yeah. I don't think...
They're not serious about it yet.
I don't
think
as a country we are doing enough. Because again, different spectrum, different paths, different journeys. Where are you? You're trying to get the basics correct, then only you will get the next part of the story.
And can you name a life skill that a child should pick up way early in their life, which in your experience they end up, stumbling on it later?
I think play a sport, I would say.
Sport.
Yeah. Play a sport.
So important.
And I think it will teach you so many good things. Sports has got, it keeps your body and mind, in the correct shape. And it gives you that resilience like nobody else. Losing gracefully is something that you must remember. And willing with humility.
And it just cannot be taught in classroom. It has to be taught on the field.
It has to be taught on the field.
That's a beautiful example that you give. And I've seen in the overhang of scores and grades, people just completely ignore the relevance of sports and outdoor activity and,
Outdoor activity, another aspect. When you talk about life skills education, what do you learn out of a 3-day camp? Can you replicate that inside a classroom? Never.
That camaraderie.
What do you know how to live with 15 children in a camp, in a tent or something like that, and the challenges that you will overcome? Those are real life experiences.
Absolutely.
I think schools should have the courage of doing things out of the box. We will make mistakes, but we will progress.
We do the same at our home every day.
Yeah.
And if I were to ask you this last one, if not an educator, then what you have been?
I would have been a research guy.
Research guy.
I wanted to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
and in biology.
I probably would have in biology or biotechnology or something like that.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah. Or else I would have been a cricket umpire. I love cricket.
Oh,
So I watch a lot of cricket here and there. I can do that as well. I can stand on a field and be a cricket umpire.
wow. Have you done that recently?
I haven't done it for a long time, but I love the game.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Basu, for this very, very insightful, very enlightening. I'm sure our parents, our students, and our educators will take away really solid gems from your insights and your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely meeting you.